I don't understand it. I don't understand why your health isn't as important. Your life. Your life is important, and why you wouldn't do anything and everything you could to save it.
Erin, how did you find Carnivore?
I found carnivore kind of the long way around, just like everybody else, I guess. As a kid, I think I was carnivore because I didn't eat a lot of vegetables. We cooked all of our meals. We didn't go out. We didn't have processed foods. A lot of my health issues didn't start until I moved out on my own and found processed foods the easy way, going to the grocery store on my own. I did do some cooking, but not a lot until I got married and started having children. And I went back to cooking, and about the time my son turned about 2 years old, I apparently wasn't cooking enough because I started having some serious health issues. A lot of IBS, migraines started hitting me. I had some serious iron issues that I was never told about. I was just told I had low iron, and nobody said to do anything about it. So, for a lot of years, I just kept doing what I was doing. They tried to put me on um, rice, banana toast, and whatever else the other thing was because they said my cholesterol was too high. And I mean, for years, I went through this. I have a lot of issues with my female cycles, and it was to the point to where even into my 30s I was flooding terribly. I was so iron deficient that I went to a doctor and they said you need to eat a lot of vegetables, just eat vegetables. And this was in my 30s, and about that time the IBS was so out of control. I was fainting, I was passing out from throwing up or just whatever was happening to me. I couldn't quite get a doctor to figure it out. Then they discovered I had palpitations terribly. And I was treated with Xanax, with atenolol, with whatever else they were giving me. And by the time I was around 38, 39, I decided I was taking my health into my own hands. And I stopped all the medications. I weaned myself off them because those you just can't stop. Weaned myself off. And right about then, as soon as I got weaned off of that, and the doctor told me I should eat more vegetables, I started eating vegetables, less meat, and I was so anemic that my level was a 3, and I should have been closer to 100. And I was hospitalized for 3 days. They treated me, but did not tell me it was an iron issue. They were trying to treat me for the heart issue. And I started doing research, and I found keto. And into keto, I did add more meat, but I was still overhauled on the vegetables because they told me that's what I should be doing. I still wasn't eating the fats. And about a month later, I wound up in the hospital again. They told me this time, you need cholesterol medication and you need to start taking iron over the counter. And this was the nurse who told me about the iron. The doctor did not. And so I started taking the iron over the counter, and the flooding got worse with my cycles. And so I wound up looking up the carnivore stuff because keto was not helping me. I went to a doctor to find out how to stop the flooding, and she just said, eat meat, eat meat, eat meat. She said, still eat your vegetables, but eat more meat. I was still eating vegetables, but it still didn't stop it. So I stopped the vegetables. And I also found heme iron online because I was so bad that I needed to do something. The meat was not doing it fast enough. I got some heme iron, and within 30 days of the heme iron and eating only meat, I saved my life.
Sorry, this is what time period? This is like
This
in the
was
last year?
from, yeah, 3 years. I've been
Right.
2020. I had a stroke right in the middle of all of that. And that's when I turned to the keto. I forgot all about the stroke, but yeah, I had a stroke in the middle of all of that. And in 2020, we sold our house And we moved out to the country on 20 acres in the middle of nowhere to get away from the stress and to raise our own food. And so that's what we've been doing.
Wow. Um, and the stroke was related to, like, uh, you had a blockage somewhere?
Iron. It was low iron. My body, it was a what they call an ischemic. There's nothing wrong with the
Mhm.
heart. There's nothing wrong. My electrolytes were so bad, potassium, iron. I didn't have anything in my system because the vegetables were blocking the absorption. So once I got rid of those and I got rid of the plant iron and put in the meat iron on top of doing my carnivore diet, that's what saved me. And I've been out here, my husband works out of town a lot and he's gone for sometimes months at a time, but I'm on my own out here and I'm thriving, thriving, no fear.
So all of those problems, like the flooding, the IBS, the migraines, those have all gone?
All gone. Nothing, all gone. I have strength. I helped my husband redo a roof. I never would have climbed up a ladder and climbed around redoing a roof if I hadn't have done this. I got my life back. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't do anything. The anxiety was incredible. The palpitations, they're gone. I sleep. It's amazing to me the changes that have happened.
Wow. And so how long has it been carnivore?
I've been carnivore approximately 3 years.
Oh, it has been the full 3
Yeah,
years.
yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
okay. Um, wow. And day to day, you're still supplementing with heme iron?
No, I stopped that after the first month in 2020.
Right.
I
Wow.
just got my iron up. You can do your own blood tests. So I do my own blood test every 6 months to see where I'm setting. I check my A1C. I check all of my triglycerides. I check um, my thyroid. I check it all. I mean, Dr. Berry is one of the best doctors on here. And and yeah, I did everything he said to do. And Sean Baker was the first one I found.
So when you first found it, did you think it was a little bit crazy, or were you just ready to try anything?
No, I knew it was okay because I grew up just eating meat. I mean, for me, that was normal as a kid. I didn't like vegetables, but you know, you think that's what you're supposed to be doing, and that's what the doctors tell you to do because I had such issues, and it only made it worse for me. And like I said, the anxiety was incredible, and I don't have any of that anymore.
That's fantastic. And so what is the menu like each day for you now?
Right now, my favorite things are hamburger patties and bacon. Sometimes just hamburger patties and butter with bacon. Sometimes I'll do hamburger patties with sausage. Um, let's see, today I had hearts in the air fryer. Yeah, steaks. I love me a good steak.
And are you taking electrolytes as well?
I do electrolytes every once in a while and yogurt as a treat for me.
Nice. And you're eating 2 meals a day?
Sometimes it just depends on the day. If I'm bored,
It
I
j
eat more.
it just depends how you're feeling, really.
Yeah, yeah. It's winter here and it's I don't know 25 below with the wind chill today. So if I can't get outside, I get more bored. So yeah, I find things to do so I don't eat. But yeah, if I get snacky, then yeah, that's my go-to is usually electrolytes and yogurt. My husband still eats pretty much, whatever he wants to because he's always out and about working. But yeah, I usually don't have stuff like that in the house. I think the only snacky things I got are pork rinds.
How has your husband reacted to this? He must have noticed a massive change in you.
We've been married 20 years and he cannot believe the changes in me. Yeah, it's made a huge difference in how I just do my day to day, and he doesn't worry about me out here anymore. He used to just go crazy thing. Yeah, he thought I was crazy when I said I wanted to move out to our property and just be out here. And I've done it almost 5 years now. So,
Out on the property, you're raising your own animals, like, your own beef and everything?
the beef not yet. No, we don't have the stuff yet. We're in the middle of building our forever home right now. I'm in a one-bedroom cabin And so we're getting our house built, and then yeah, we'll start working on that. But I do have chickens and ducks and geese, and we do all of our own eggs, and yeah, everything else, this is Montana, so you can get the best meat you can buy here.
Is it a big property? Do you have friends around close by?
No, all of our family is 3 to 4 hours away, and yeah, we have. th- I'm on a 20-acre parcel with BLM around us, so yeah, usually about half mile to a mile between us and the neighbors.
Right. So, outside of your husband, no one's really noticed that change in you?
Oh yeah, all of my family, because they do come see me, and I talk to them, and I've even got my daughter-in-law and the grandkids keto. They're at least
Oh,
keto.
wow. Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah,
Nice. That's
yeah.
excellent.
Yeah.
So speaking of the grandkids, like,
Mhm.
how's your energy now for playing with the grandkids?
I can play with them. I spend more time outside with them when they're here. They were living here, but they've moved to town because she can't handle, being away from her husband, which I understand that. But yeah, it's wonderful. I don't mind driving halfway across the country anymore to go see my family, and yeah, it's wonderful.
That's great. Um, so you're eating this way, you're feeling better, all of those problems are gone. I
Hmm.
I guess the plan is to stick with this permanently?
Yes. Yeah, it's like I told my husband, there's no way I can go back. I can throw little things in, every once in a while I'll have, a little piece of chocolate or something instead of my yogurt and electrolytes. But other than that, yeah, no, even when we go out, I'm ordering hamburgers without the buns, or, whatever I can get away with. He has his salads and whatever he wants, but yeah, it's just I can't do it. I don't feel good when I do, and I like the way I haven't felt this way since I was a kid.
Yeah. So I guess 3 years now, you probably don't really have much of an emotional connection with any of those, old foods from the before times?
And no, my husband brought home Tostina pizza rolls or something one time, and I took a bite of one. It was the grossest thing. I used to love those things when I was, and it was disgusting. So yeah, I just turn my nose up at most of it because if I make pizza, I'll make a naan bread. And then yeah, that doesn't seem to bother me because I do it with einkorn flour. And so, yeah, maybe once a year we'll have a pizza. And it just that's just what it is. I love my meat, and it reminds me of when I was growing up that I had the health then. And yeah, that standard American diet is a dangerous thing.
It really opens your eyes and makes you kind of look around you at what you see advertised on TV and all that kind of thing and just feel like it just looks like poison, right?
Yeah, well, my mom passed away, I don't know, almost 20, well, I guess about 20 years ago now. But she had heart disease, and she had strokes, and she had blood sugar issues and epilepsy, and I mean all of these health conditions my whole life, and I could never figure out why she was so sick. My dad just died a few years ago of thyroid cancer, but he had a stroke and he had diabetes before that hit. And I'm thinking that is not going to happen to me. I had that ischemic, and that will never happen again. Not ever.
It's the sad thing about all this is people suffer so much and they just feel helpless thinking, well, there's nothing I can do. I just drew the short straw. And in a lot of cases there probably is something you can do, and that's like removing anything that's got a nutrition label on it.
Well, and yeah, my biggest thing is people know. I think a lot more people know. They just they figure that's their lot in life, and they don't want to do anything about it. But I I don't understand it. I don't understand why your health isn't as important, your life. Your life is important, and why you wouldn't do anything and everything you could to save it. And there you can. You can save it from a host of things.
Yeah. I sometimes feel like it's people are so addicted without knowing they're addicted to the food, and they can't get in front of that to even look rationally at what they're effectively doing to themselves by putting that food into them.
A lot of times I don't know if it's addiction more than it is fear. What if it doesn't work? And you talk to people like me, and I haven't heard a lot, of people talking about iron issues, and that's why I thought this was important, that even iron issues can be solved this way. It's amazing, even just the little things that you think you can't fix can be fixed.
And the really scary part about it is when we go to the doctor for something, let's say it's an iron issue, and you go to the doctor and the doctor gives you some advice about what to do, or the doctor is looking at that iron issue as like a siloed issue that
A detail.
is,
It's a small detail.
yeah. What they don't look at is that all these little issues all add up to much bigger problems within your body because it causes inflammation, or all these all your body's compensating for these issues that you have, and in compensating for them, other issues happen. It's
You
really quite
can't
scary.
build you can't build good blood, which means you can't get rid of the inflammation. You can't your immune system goes to hell in a handbasket. It's incredible. An iron issue that could have been fixed when I was young, I wouldn't have had the life I had. I would have been completely different. But I had, heart issues, and I all of that stuff was because of this iron issue. And just eating the meat took care of it, and eating vegetables and eating, the carbs, those block. Plants will block your iron absorption. And you watch, a lot of these doctors talk about it, but it needs to be out there that you can be fixed. We're not broken. We're just unhealthy.
Right, and so I feel like that's one of the ways that big pharma and the medical industry is able to stay in business and be so profitable is they perpetuate this myth, whether it's direct or indirect. They perpetuate the myth that we are fundamentally broken, which makes absolutely no sense because no other animal is fundamentally broken. If
No,
we if we look at a if an alien came to Earth, and part of their orientation for coming to Earth is that they got to see pictures of every creature, and you saw every creature kind of lined up, and there was like a row of elephants and a row of tigers and a row of giraffes and a row of hippopotamuses, and like all of the animals all look the same within their species, right? And right at the bottom is a picture of humans all lined up together, and the aliens would just look at that and go, these are the ones that are sick.
well, you look at all the other animals out in nature and they all look the same. Everybody's uniform, nobody's overweight, nobody's under thin, unless they are really, really sick. And the ones that are really, really sick have gotten into the human food. You figure
Like
they're out
dogs
there.
do, right?
Well, the dogs, or you look into, the fields where they're getting the deer are getting into corn and they're winding up with chronic wasting disease because they're eating, the products that have been sprayed. That's not a natural diet for them, but we've created a place for them to come in and get their American diet.
Um, and the thing is, when like you've been doing this 3 years now, like when your eyes are opened like this, now it's like everything looks so obvious, but we've just been in a
Nobody
haze
sees it but
the whole
you.
time. Yeah.
Nobody sees it but you. And you tell people, I've lost what, 15 pounds, and I I feel wonderful, and I'm almost 60 years old. And people look at me going, "Well, how come you look so good for your age?" Because I don't eat the crap that you eat. It's that easy. Just don't eat it. And then they complain that their hair is falling out, and I just can't do that. And it's so expensive. The doctors are very expensive too. If you just put that money into it and get rid of the drugs, you won't have all of the bills and you can afford the food.
But it's hard to break past all the marketing messages, right?
It is. It's very hard. And I don't have television. I think if people got rid of television and just stuck to YouTube, I bet you they'd be doing pretty good.
So, has anyone kind of reacted to the way you're eating, like kind of gone, "Oh, this is crazy"?
Um, not I'm not very social. So yeah, even my 72-year-old mother-in-law, she has a heck of a time walking, her knees are terrible. Even she's trying it. I
Oh, that's
know.
great. That's great.
Yeah.
Does she live with you?
Nope. Nope. She lives about 4 hours away, but yeah, she'll tell me what she's been eating once in a while, and she sees the change that it's made in me. So yeah, she's not all in, but boy, she's giving it her best.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, as long as I can get her to, slow down on at least do half of it, and she's doing great.
Hmm. And the thing is, because the body is actually so powerful and can heal so well, it's never too late, right?
That's what I tell her. She goes, "Well, I'm not losing it." And I said, "It's not about the weight, Mom. It's taken you all these years, 40, 50 years for you to get where you are. It's going to take time to heal yourself in order for your body to start reacting. But you feel it right away." She did. She just isn't seeing the progress on the outside, but the inside needs healing first.
And to be honest, after a while, it ends up being what's happening on the inside that's more important anyway, you know? Because it's
Exactly.
like once you feel as good as you did when you were in elementary school as an adult, it's like, this is amazing. I don't care how much weight I lose or gain.
And that's just it. I was in it, just thinking, if I lose, 5, 10 pounds, that'd be great. But I lost 15, and that's where I've been for 3 years. And I'm thinking it's okay. I'm at where I'm at.
So much, yeah, you realize so much more important, just to feel great.
Yeah. And do
Mm.
things that I hadn't done in 20, 25 years is amazing to me. Amazing. I feel wonderful.
Yeah. So, what would your advice be to someone who's just getting started with carnivore? What would you tell them to do to maximize their chance of success?
I think the first thing I would do is tell them to get out of the sugar. And that's anything any kind of pasta, any kind of grains and sugar. That's where I would start. And that pretty much leaves you with keto. And so once you start on keto, if you're still finding inflammation, start cutting everything else out. I think everybody is different. My husband does really well with just meats and vegetables. And he's lost, I think, 40 pounds now, just because he still eats the vegetables, but he sees how I'm doing it, and he likes his vegetables, but we just have to figure out which ones bother him the most. All of them bother me, so I don't worry about them. But yeah, that's where I would start. Get rid of the sugar, and that means all the grains, anything that would turn to sugar in your body, would glycate in your body, or sugar in general, any of it. And go keto first thing, and then start working your way down and see where you end up.
I think that's a really good point, and it's really important for people to understand that sugar is not just table sugar.
Right.
It's basically, yeah, it's all those grains, it's all those starches, right?
Yes. Even your vegetables, your starchy vegetables can do the same damage to you that eating a spoon of sugar with every cup of tea. It does the same damage. It's all the same. Your body doesn't know the difference. Sugar is sugar to it.
So, Erin, if people want to reach out to you, how can they get in contact?
Well, I have my email address, ehrbear1967 at gmail.com.
Oh, awesome. So I'll leave that in the show notes.
Okay.
Erin, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks, Dave.